Hi, my name's Marcus Boyce and welcome to a extended edition of LordSplodge Shorts. In this episode we're going to take a look at Apple's iCloud, how you can set this up on both your Mac and iOS devices such as your iPad or iPhone, and as well as having a quick look how it integrates into other Apple apps such as iCal. Well, let's get started with the show. Okay, so apple.com/iCloud is where you can get more details of iCloud, but be aware that to use iCloud on OS 10 you need Lion and you need the latest version 10.7.2 to take advantages of features. On iOS you need iOS 5. Let's launch System Preferences. You'll see there's an iCloud icon. There's also a Mobile Me icon still. Now I presume that's because there's a transition period. Anyway, into the iCloud option. Now you can click to learn more about it, which takes you to the page I showed earlier, apple.com/iCloud. You'll need an Apple ID, but presumably if you've got an iPhone or iOS device you already have one. It's the same as what you use for your Mac App Store, but if not you can create one. I'm just going to log on. There's also links for your password reset and creating one. Here we go. The first two options is use iCloud for contacts, calendars and bookmarks. They'll sync and can be accessed anywhere. There's also the option to use Find My Mac, which allows you to remotely access the location of your Mac, remotely lock or erase it. It's a very useful feature, just like Find My iPhone. Right, now it's going to say, is it okay to use the location of the Mac? Well, yes, otherwise it won't know where it is. Here's the screen where you get a choice of what to sync. Now there's Mail, Contacts, Calendars, Bookmarks, Documents and Data, and Find My Mac by default. If you turn Mail on, it's going to ask you for an email address. I'm going to create one here. Just not one in there. It's going to say, yep, this doesn't exist. You can't create it after you've done it. So we'll do that. One of the more useful features on here is Photo Stream, which syncs photos taken on your iOS device over Wi-Fi to your iPhone library. Here's back to Mac, which is Sharing to Access Mac. Now notice to do this, you actually have to turn on file sharing from within sharing preferences. Now it prompts you to do that, so it's in here. Now this, for less computer savvy users, it looks a bit scary, but it's straightforward. It's best not to turn it on if you don't need it. We can manage storage from here. Now by default you get 5 gig. As you can see I'm using 3 gig of that. 1.6 is backups, 5 meg of mail and 4.1 meg of keynotes. You can view your account. This will need you to authenticate again. And here you can see your Apple ID, your current storage plan, payment information, and you can edit and change those if need be. You can also buy more storage from here. Now it comes in at 10 gig for 15 gig in total. It's £14, 20 which gives you 25 gigs, 28 and 55 is a quite expensive £70 a year. I'm not going to buy any storage at this moment, so you can also view the refund policy from here. In backups you can see the backups of any iOS devices. Here's my iPhone at 900 meg. I can delete that if so be, to free up space. Same with my iPad. Mail, you can't really do much here. It tells you if you want to get space to go to junk folders. And finally we can see some documents. This is my Keynote file, which is synced from my iPad. You can change the account name and description. I'm not quite sure what that was for, and you can sign out. Right, let's take a look at using some of the OS 10 apps with iCal. We'll start with Mail. Here we are in the account section of Mail, and because I ticked the Mail option earlier, it's automatically set all this up for me. It's got the description and the email server and email address and so on and so forth. All the other options are as per setting any other mail account up. Right, let's go into iCal. Okay, so iCal, again, because I synced the use calendars options, it's automatically created a iCloud device. Now it's set to push, but if you want to do a manual refresh, you can set that here. Note that this doesn't support delegation, so basically it's just a simple tick option there. And you click edit account and it brings up the details here, just like you would when you was editing any other account. You got the same advanced settings as normal. Okay, so here we are in iPhoto, and if you look on the left there, you'll see photo stream. Now these are all photos taken from my iPhone, in this case from the Natural History Museum in London. Now these stay there for 30 days until they're synced to your Mac as an Apple II. It's a very useful feature. You can also access iCloud on the web. To do that, go to iCloud.com. The first time you go here, you've got this screen that says you've got to have OS 10.7.2 or an iOS device. If you click learn more, it takes you to an Apple setup guide showing you how to set up your iOS device with iCloud. So we'll sign in. It's brought me to calendar by default. I don't know if this does it for you, but it has for me. Here we go with the three calendars in iCloud. We've got homework and reminders. You can see the reminders on the right. Now they've synced for my iOS devices. The rest of the calendar operates pretty much as iCal does on iOS and on OS 10, with list views, notifications, day, week, and so on. You can hide the calendars on the left or show them if you want more screen estate. And there's the usual slider for weeks at the bottom there. Over on the right, you've got a cog which brings you to preferences. You can set things like day per week, what day the week starts on, how long the day is going to be. Date format, time format, date separator. Again, you can add an alert before it. And at advanced, you've got options enabling time zone support. You can hide reminders for due dates after the calendar view. So if you tick that, and you notice it'll make the reminders that have already been completed go away. So just save that, and look there, the reminders have gone. That's because they've been completed. Just going to turn that back on. I actually meant to say hide reminders after they've been completed. The first one hides them if the due date's gone. The today button in the bottom left will take you to today, and you can either use the cog to create a new event, or you can actually click on the calendar area. So in this case I've actually created a new reminder, so you just fill in details as usual, straightforward. Or you can create a new event. So you've got new event, location, is it all day, does it repeat, do you want an alert and what calendar is it in. So we've unticked all day, so we can set a time on that. Very straightforward. It's all very straightforward and easy to use. And you've got other options like go to day, go to date, which lets you go to a date in the future or past, and you can refresh the calendar and even add new calendars. It's pretty functional, really. As you can see here, I'm clicking on the time in the calendar, and I can move it around. I can create a new one. It's pretty functional. I can click on an event and then go to delete event, or I can press the backspace key. I'm going to set this one to the work calendar, and I could add an invitee who'll get emailed. It'll pick email addresses up, as you can see here from your address book. Now you can have custom repeats, so every 1 day, or whatever days, every week, on which day, every month, on a date, on the so many date of a month, and the same with year. Every 1 year's on said Tuesday, or whatever. The repeat options are quite flexible. The iCloud button at the top takes you back to this main menu. We're going to go into contacts. And contacts looks again just like the version on the Mac or the iOS device. Mail again pretty much looks similar to Mail on both the iPad in this case, and somewhat like the old version of Mail on OS 10. It doesn't quite resemble the new version, but it's pretty functional. It's got all the options you need. You can read the mail, you can delete them, move them to folders, archive them, reply, and so on and so forth. You can compose one. You get to the preferences, where you can choose if you want to load images, what addresses you've got, what format you want it to be in, and you can set your out of office response. You can forward emails, and you can delete mails after forwarding. So if you wanted your iCloud mails forwarding, you fill that option in there. You can also set rules. So is it from let's say it's a no reply one, you can move it to the junk, or is it to there's quite a few options in there. Again, if you've used Mail, you'll be familiar with it. Now find my iPhone. This is going to ask you to authenticate again, just because it's an extra level of security. Now you can see all my Apple devices. Now one thing to bear in mind, that the iMac, it doesn't really have any idea of where it is. It's plugged into a wired network, so it tends to say no location. Now it has successfully located the MacBook, which again, presumably it's picking up from a Wi-Fi sort of Skyhook database. And from here you can play a sound or send a message to a device. You can remote lock it, and you can get an email when it's found. This is very useful functionality to be included for free. I've tested it and it does work. It tends to send messages quicker to iOS devices than the OS 10 devices, but like I say, I have got it playing devices. Finally, we've got iWork, and this is where you can store keynote pages and numbers documents. Now, I don't have any spreadsheets or pages documents stored, but if I wanted to upload one, I could from the cog on the right, again, for pages as well. Here's the GTD keynote. I can delete it, duplicate, I can download it, or I can sort it by name. Not massively useful. It really needs to be integrated directly into iWork, so presumably that comes in the next version. If you click you can get at the top there your name. You can get information about where your time zone is. Mine's not Pacific time, so I'm just gonna change that. I'm not even in Central Europe actually. See if we can get the UK. Click. There we go. That was good. Got it. And you got some advanced options like resetting your photo stream, which will remove photos from iCloud if you don't want them there anymore. And that's it. Then you can sign out. It's pretty straightforward. Well, that's it. Let's have a look at iCloud on iOS now. Okay, so to use iCloud on iOS, you need iOS 5. Now, this iPad's got iOS 5 on it. To access iCloud, it's in settings. So let's go into settings and have a look. Now, underneath General, we have a iCloud option. So select that. And now, when you set up iOS 5 for the first time, it asks you if you want to use iCloud. So this all comes in from there. This is where it's picked my Apple ID up. Ask the same as the settings on OS 10. You have options for mail, contacts, calendars, reminders, bookmarks, and so on. Now, it's a simple toggle switches. I'll just turn mail on and off. It doesn't actually ask you anything for that. But note, if you have something that's already synced, it'll go, do you want to keep whatever you've synced on the iPad or delete? Same applies for calendars, reminders, and anything else in this that has data that's synced across. As you can see there with reminders, it's basically the same thing. Now turn notes on and it'll sync notes across. And turn it off. Now there's no notes of syncs, don't have any, so it's not going to say do you want to keep them. Photo stream, as I discussed earlier, syncs your photos across your iCloud devices. These only happen on Wi-Fi. Documents and data, you've got an option to sync documents and data, and you can actually sync these across cellular if your plan is appropriate for transmitting documents around. Find my iPad, well, that's on, and again lets the location of the iPad be located. At the bottom there is delete the account if you want to delete it, and finally, just like on the Mac, you can manage the account. You can turn on or off iCloud backup and do a backup now. Now when you connect this to iTunes, you also have the option of enabling iCloud backup there. At the top we have the amount of storage and what's available, and if you need more, just like on OS 10, you can buy more storage. Yeah, we don't need to go over the plans again, we've covered those. Here though, under manage storage, you can do a little bit more than you could on OS 10. So I'll go to the backup of this iPad, and you will notice it tells me how much space it is when it was backed up and what's being backed up. You can turn these off, so if you didn't want to back up an account, again it asks you if you want to delete it. So there's a synthesizer app there called Animoog, and I don't need to keep backup of that, so I'll turn it off and delete, and that saved me 14 meg in my iCloud. Now show all apps, because there's more apps there hidden away. And again, the same option for these. If you don't want them to be backed up to iCloud, you can just simply turn them off, and you can delete the entire backup from the bottom down there. Now I can also see other iOS devices, but in this case, because it's the iPhone, it won't show me the apps. I'd have to go to the iPhone there and do the same thing as before, in which case it would show me. Right, let's have a quick look at some apps and how they work with iCloud. So like iPhoto on OS 10, we have a photo stream in the Photos app. And again, you can see that my trip to the Natural History Museum is synced across. I really do like that feature, it's very useful. Calendar. Looking pretty much like the OS 10 version with the stitching. And we'll look at the calendars, and we can see that the iCloud calendars are synced. That's basically it. It works just the same way as before. Here's the only set of documents I've got at the moment synced are the Keynote documents, but if you had the other iWork stuff, just like I showed you before, you can sync them to iWorks in the cloud, and they'll be available on your iOS devices. All in all, iCloud brings a very powerful set of features. Now, it needs some work, but it's very useful if you have more than one iOS device. Well, as you can see, iCloud is fairly straightforward to set up and use. There are one or two issues. Some people are reporting that stuff like mail doesn't work properly, or they're getting duplicate mails, or the bookmarks aren't syncing, and so on and so forth. But so far for me, it's been pretty good. The syncing between my iPad and my iPhone, for example, is pretty much spot on. The apps appear on one phone, and then they appear on the iPad, or the other way around. One thing that does annoy me, and I'm assuming that Apple are going to rectify this, is at the moment there's no easy way to save to iCloud from the iWork applications. But if you have a Mac and you have a iOS device, then iCloud pretty much is going to help you out. I mean, it syncs, especially the photo stream part, which is pretty useful. All in all, a good initial launch from Apple, and I look forward to future updates of iCloud. Thanks for watching this episode of LordSplodge Shorts. Bye.